Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. This is a podcast about the strange and unusual, the secret and conspiracies, the fringe and supernatural. This is a show where we do little to no research on our topics. We are not professionals in any field except speculation. This is the Secret Transmission Podcast.
Welcome to episode 8. Today we're going to be talking about sleep paralysis. I am your host, Toby, and I've got some lovely guest hosts with me. Please introduce yourself.
My name's Evan.
I'm Tina.
I'm Karina.
I'm super professional Kristen.
She's very professional. She's got her radio voice on. So, did any of y'all know about sleep paralysis before we started trying to do our minimal research?
I had no clue about it.
Evan?
I've only heard of it. I know nothing.
I have heard about it, but I haven't ever witnessed anything about it.
Well, I have actually experienced it before, so yes, I have heard about it in the past.
See, I'm very excited to hear your stories about sleep paralysis. That'll be interesting because there's a lot of stuff that goes with sleep paralysis. There's a lot of different beliefs, a lot of different stories that happen to people. So sleep paralysis is when a person is falling asleep or waking up temporarily and can't move. The person is paralyzed. Most of the time, the person that is having this happen to them has hallucinations during the state. Some of the examples of hallucinations that they have is they see people or things entering the room and touching them. Sometimes they get electric shocks or some kind of current pulsing through their body, and it's just very uncomfortable and, unnerving when you see a figure in your room that you don't recognize. There's two different types of sleep paralysis. The first one is ISP. ISP stands for isolated sleep paralysis. It's like you have it maybe twice in your lifetime, and that's it. So the other one is just RISP. It's the recurrent isolated sleep paralysis. That's like someone who might get it once a week, twice a week, once a month, or just any random scheduling. Usually the episodes of sleep paralysis can last for like anywhere from, a minute to an hour or even over an hour, which seems terrifying. I mean, if you're sitting there for an hour with whatever being you're seeing in your room or being shocked or that feeling of being shocked, that could be torturous. That would be like living in hell, The isolated sleep paralysis is common in patients that have been diagnosed with narcolepsy. Both males and females can have this, but different age groups are more susceptible to developing sleep paralysis. Mostly it's between 25 and 44 years of age. Doctors say there is no immediate risk if you have an episode, except that it can be intensely terrifying. So, again, if you have sleep paralysis that lasts longer than a few minutes.
Which I'd like to say, though, we did watch the documentary of the nightmare, and there
on
tends
Netflix.
to
It was
on
pretty
Netflix.
Good. It was pretty good.
So it tends to be that people have had these occurrences even when they were in the crib, like of 2 years of age, and remember it and are able to recite it.
There was a couple of different cases. Yeah, there was a couple of different cases that like these people were like in the little bitties, like 2 maybe, and they have like weird nightmares of like their room turning red and stuff, and like when I'll get to the creatures and stuff, but when the creature would enter their room, like their eyes were glowing red and stuff, and just really freaky. There's a lot of different things that happen.
But I will say the only flaw in this documentary was I told Toby whenever it was going on, in there they always go, well, when I had, or well, when this happened. So they always act like it's past tense of them having this episode, but in the documentary they never say if they figured out a reason, like a way of not having them or a reasoning of why they're not having them, but they always say, I did have them, I was having them, so it's kind of a off documentary because of that.
They never say that they're still having them.
No,
like,
they don't. They say, I was
having them.
Little.
And the doctor,
past tense.
Yeah, they made it sound like they weren't having them anymore, but every time they talk about them, they'd be like, oh yeah, I have episodes every night. So some of the things that doctors do believe that cause the sleep paralysis there's a lot of different things. Some people believe that it's insomnia, like when you've, sleep deprivation, when you've stayed up for so long that you kind of start to hallucinate just because you've been up for so long. An erratic sleep schedule, so if your schedule's changing or your job makes you change your schedule a lot or something. Stress, overuse of stimulants, physical fatigue. Apparently some medications to prevent ADHD causes it. And sleeping in the supine position. The the supine position is just laying on your back with your head facing the ceiling.
Your arms down to your side.
Okay, yeah. I've read that.
It's something weird about putting pressure on something on your body, and it kind of like it paralyzes you because you're putting so much weight on it.
Okay, when I used to get it, it was because I used to sleep like this.
Like cross.
I don't know why.
Like you were in a cross.
No,
yeah.
No, I used to sleep like that, like this.
That was comfortable?
Yeah, like I would just, I wouldn't even notice it. I would just go to sleep, and then I guess I would just go like this.
You're a vampire.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think of when someone sleeps with
See, and I couldn't say that on there because someone say, and I was sleeping like this. No. But yeah, I used to sleep like that. Or like just kind of like, I don't know, just my hands here. So
do you sleep on your back or on
no,
your side?
now I have a pillow and I hug it. So,
and it keeps everything away.
It keeps all the bad out.
Yeah. So, but no, I used to like sleep like this, and I would always do that. And my sister sleeps like that today.
Does your sister?
So by this means cross arms. They're sleeping
like
cross arms. So
yeah, they sleep like this.
When it first happened, were you sleeping on your back?
Yeah, I was sleeping like this.
So sleeping on your back, cross arms.
Yeah, because that's how I would always sleep. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Does your sister have sleep paralysis?
No, they haven't. They haven't yet.
See, the sleep paralysis. Okay, when you go to sleep, you go into what's called REM sleep, and REM stands for random eye movement. So when you're asleep, your eyes, I didn't quite understand if your eyes were moving just slightly back and forth.
There's a pattern of sleep. It's like 4, 3, 3, 2, 1 REM, and then 1, 2, 2, 3, 4 to get yourself. You go into a deep sleep, and then they say that you have to, if you are woken up between the deep sleep, is when you can have the sleep paralysis. Now, if your body has to go from beginning of sleep to deep sleep to out from the deep sleep in order for you to have a complete cycle of sleep. But if you are disturbed within any point of that, then you are able to have this sleep paralysis, is what they say.
See, most of the time when people have this sleep paralysis, it's when they first are about to go to sleep or when they're about to wake up. There's also this thing called atonia, ATONIA, and that's when you go to sleep, your body kicks into this mode. Because when you sleep, you won't act out your dreams. Like if you're a ninja in your dreams, you're not going to be like chopping because your body goes into that atona and it relaxes the muscles.
So what it is it's an injection of your brain that your body injects this into your body so that you don't have that.
You don't act out your dreams.
Yeah, your muscles are literally paralyzed at that time.
And so that could be the cause of some of this sleep paralysis, is that you are in your REM sleep, because REM sleep is when you start dreaming. Mm-hmm. So when you start dreaming and then your body kicks into that atona, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but atona paralyzes you. So you're not like karate chopping.
Getting up and moving.
Right.
And doing crazy
so
stuff.
It could be something like you're waking up a little bit, but your body still hasn't woken up out of atona.
You're in sleep, but you're barely coming out of it
right.
at the same time.
So
like
you're still
between both worlds almost.
Yeah, what I've read is that doctors believe that it's just your brain and your body not communicating with each other, that it's time to wake
quick
up.
enough.
Yeah. So your body's still thinking that it's asleep.
And you're still dreaming that, whatever's happening in your dream is happening right there, and you're powerless. You can't move. Right now we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear the stories of what happens to these people and then hear other stories of like what happens in other cultures and what they believe happens. We'll be right back. Okay, so we are back. And would you like to tell us some of your experiences with sleep paralysis?
Sure. So when I was younger, like around 8 years old, okay, by the way, I'm Mexican, 100% Mexican. I'm just saying that because I used to hear stories with my uncles. They would always tell my mom, they would say, ay, se me subió el muerto. That literally translates to, oh, the death got on top of me last night, basically. And they would just say the stories, just saying that they were on the couch sleeping and that the death person would get on top of them and they couldn't move or breathe. And they were just really scared. And when I heard that, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought it was really scary and I just wished it would never happen to me, but I was young. So when I was 15, that summer going into sophomore year, after freshman year when I was about to go into sophomore year, I was sleeping in my bed like normal. I slept alone and I had 2 puppies. They were awesome. They were cute. Why I'm saying that? Because I was sleeping and I heard them panting. I heard them come in through the backyard and slowly working themselves into the hallway and into my room. But I was sleeping, so it was, at the time, I was sleeping, but I was in that sleep where you can still hear something, where you're about to fall asleep. I feel like that's where I was at that time. And they were coming in my hall, and it sounded louder and louder, and when it got into my room, it was so loud, and I feel like I imagined it, but I saw a big dog face and a big tongue lick me, and once it licked me, everything stopped and shut down and got dark. And once that happened, I couldn't move, I couldn't scream. I was trying really hard to scream, and I know everybody says this, but yeah, that's how it was. I was trying to scream, but I couldn't move at all. And I remember I started praying. I'm Catholic. Well, I was Catholic. So I was saying, I say that I'm not Catholic because I don't know.
You're Catholic, but only you don't
I'm not Catholic. I don't like Catholicism at all. So that's why I'm like.
On the record.
Okay. There you go.
I don't believe anything of it. But okay. So I started praying because I thought that God defeats everything, and I still believe that God does defeat everything. So I started praying. I said, Hail Mary. No, I did say Hail Mary because I was Catholic. And I said, Our Father. And I was just saying that back to back, and I couldn't move. And it was just really scary. It felt horrible. It was like an unwanted feeling. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Even now, like, that's one of the scariest things I've ever felt in my life.
So did you actually see anything besides the giant dog face that licked you?
I'm not done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so I felt that, and I was praying, and I was just wishing it would go away because I didn't know what was going on. So I'm not too sure how long it lasted. I would say maybe like 2 minutes. And so once it stopped, it was after I prayed. I woke up and I looked, and my covers were completely off. I was just on my bed. And at that moment, I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what just happened. That was my first experience. So I laid in my bed, I would say for a good 30 minutes, just thinking about what just happened. And I was kind of scared to get out because I wanted to get out of my bed and go to my mom's room and tell her what happened. It was in the middle of the night because it was still dark. But I didn't do that just yet. I kind of just thought, like, what just happened? And I couldn't figure it out. So after 30 minutes, after I had the courage to get up, I got up and I ran to my mom's room. And she was sleeping. So she didn't understand me, or she didn't hear me. So the next day, I just told her what happened, and she kind of just brushed it off. She would brush off a lot of things.
I have a question, though, in between this. Is it a very, like, reoccurring thing that happens, like, within, like... So, I mean, I don't know how to really say this. I mean, I guess in, like, the Hispanic culture, like, does it happen often, or is it just something that is just...
I mean, not just in the Hispanic culture. I believe it happens everywhere because from what I've researched and what I've found, it happens to everybody.
Well, I guess, okay, so here's my thing I want to ask. So, like, where I know that, like, Hispanic people are very, like, high on religion. So, when it happens to y'all versus when it happens to anyone else, like, is it a very big deal? Like, you're more, like, is it a scary feeling? Like, is it something that's, like, talked about? Like,
right,
like,
not something that's like, hey, this, I don't know, like, if you have this experience and you shared it with someone in your family, they're like, oh, yeah, that's just, like you said, there was a saying for it, the death on you or whatever. Is that just like it's kind of a known thing?
So
Like,
you say sleep
yeah.
paralysis, but the death on you is a way more scary thing. So it sounds
Yeah.
like it's more common amongst like when it happens. Like I don't know. It seems like y'all take it more serious than what it does like nowadays.
I mean, yes, in a way, because we don't think of it as sleep paralysis. We don't think of it as a scientific term. We think of it as, well,
something attacking.
you know, older people, they think of it as someone who's dead and they came on top of you and slept on you. And
So
yeah.
it's like maybe a relative or just someone that's passed away. That's
No, because it's like I said, it's
It's an evil
really
spirit, right?
Is it a
scary.
demon?
It's really scary. It's not. Like I said, I haven't had that feeling in my in my awakened life, or I haven't had that yet. It's a really bad feeling. Like when you know how when you watch horror movies and you see that, you feel like a really bad feeling. That's what you feel. It's horrible. It's like really bad. And
Like
so
when you're
then,
scared out of your mind.
yeah, that's how it feels. It honestly feels that way. Like you wake up and your heart is
Like
beating.
you're about to die, but
Yes.
you can't.
Yes.
Like you can't do anything about it.
That's
and
how it
you're
feels.
afraid
so. What was the
You're
second
afraid of it.
experience?
So, okay, I had about 4 experiences, but they were about 7 years ago, so I only remember these 2 because they were the scariest ones.
Right.
So the second one, and I used to sleep with my brother. I know that's kind of weird, but I was 15 and he was 10. He was a little boy. He would sleep with me because he was scared to sleep
Right.
because it
No,
would rain
yeah.
and it would thunder. I know it's kind of weird.
No,
it's fine.
not.
No, it is. Whatever.
No, it's not.
We had to. I was like his mom because my mom used to work in the morning, so I used to take care of them. So I used to be like their mom, and okay. So I was having a dream, and it was funny because it was kind of like a little kid's dream. I remember it. Everything was pink and beautiful, and I was in my now sister's room, and we were in her room on her bed. We were sitting down, just I don't know what we were doing, but we looked at the mirror in the bathroom, and I don't remember who it was, but I know it was me and 2 other people, and I think they were my siblings because in the dream that's what it felt like. I felt like they were my siblings, but I don't remember their faces. So it was just us 3. We looked in the mirror and we see 4 faces. Once that happens, everything turns kind of like gloomy, and it goes from happy to like death, like
Dark
hell.
colors.
Yeah, that's how it felt. Once that happened, I immediately saw myself on the bed. I was in my bed, just laying there, and I saw, I'm not going to say it's a devil, but I saw a red face next to me, like right next to my cheek. A really big
Were you
face.
like astral projected where you could see
Yeah,
yourself
see,
laying
some
in the
people
bed?
think that's an
No.
out-of-body experience.
I say I saw myself because I know I was sleeping, but I saw that face. So I was still in my body, but I saw that face, but I know I didn't see it in real life. I felt like it was like a different dimension because I know I wouldn't see that in real life. Like I didn't think, oh, his skin, he has pimples, nothing like that. Seriously. I'm serious.
Is it serious for her?
But I
I'm so sorry.
it's just I do makeup, so whatever.
You're fine.
Like I didn't think of his texture being. I didn't think of anything. I just saw a face next to me, and it was a nasty, crazy red face. So I started cussing that face out. Before I used to like pray, and this time I started cussing it out. I got angry, and I was like, "Fuck you, bitch! Get the fuck away from me! Fuck you! I'm not scared of you! Come on, try to hurt me!" I don't know why I was saying that.
Were you saying this, or were you saying it in
I
your
was
mind?
saying it in my mind because, like I said, it was kind of a different world. It was not. It was not real. It was not real. That was true. It was not real. So I'm not trying to say it was fake, but it wasn't real. I feel like it was in a different world, but I was there. My brother, he was sleeping with me next to me. The only thing that woke me up was him screaming. He screamed and hugged me, and that's the reason I woke up.
But he was still asleep, right?
He
So
was still asleep.
And I've heard of that. Like I've heard of.
Have
like,
you? Because I haven't.
Well, people not like that. No, I've heard of people like sleeping next to each other, and like okay, so in that documentary that we said before,
The
but
Nightmare.
before the nightmare, before that, I had read about it where people are feeling certain things because they're laying next to someone, and they feel. I guess it's almost as if they feel that being projected to them, so they get scared themselves, and they wake up in the midst of it all, and they are in the middle of it, almost as if it's almost like a second degree of like sleep paralysis. Like they're watching it all while you are completely down under and they are confused about it all, and then they feel the reactions of it.
In one of those stories on the in the Nightmare documentary, I think it may have been something else I watched, but we'll say it's in the Nightmare. So go watch the Nightmare. The guy is talking about sleeping in a bed with a couple of his friends, and he started having his sleep paralysis, and he saw someone walking. I think he saw someone walk into his room, and he had these red glowing eyes, and it was saying something to him. I don't remember what it was saying, but the person sleeping next to him woke up and started screaming, and she said that she was having a dream that there was a cat laying on her chest with red glowing eyes looking at him.
And she woke up and was screaming like badly and involuntarily, and he was like, I had no clue what she was doing, but then I kind of put two and two together. She had kind of experienced what I experienced. So maybe I know that they were like boyfriend and girlfriend, but you and your brother being around each other all your lives, maybe it was kind of like a sibling feeling. You know, they say that some people who are twins, they can feel that. Maybe people who are born around each other and live together, they can maybe feel that same entire situation together.
Feel that.
Yeah, like I said, me and my brother, me and my brother and my sister, I raised them. So we are always together all the time. Obviously not anymore. It's been years. They're going their own life. But before, yes. So yeah, like the reason I woke up was because he was hugging me, literally hugging me and screaming. And I woke up. And I was like...
It snapped you out of it.
Yeah, it snapped me out of it because I feel like since I was just cussing at him, I don't think that I would have gone out of it. Well, I don't know. This is just what I feel.
Like if you were like... If you saw something, you know, like whenever you're in that position of being like, and you're in your own sleep paralysis and you are dealing with that, like you don't know what's going on outside of your body. So it makes me wonder, is something going on? Whereas you're laying there feeling like you can't talk, it makes me wonder, are you really talking on the outside of your body and someone can hear that? Because not unless you're underneath the sleep study, or if you're sleeping next to somebody, can they really tell that?
Exactly. But the thing is, I woke up from that and he was hugging me and screaming. And
was he having a nightmare, or why was he screaming?
That's the thing. So I woke up and I was like, Fernando, his name is Fernando. I was like, Fernando. He was sleeping. The lights were off, so I couldn't see him. But he was sleeping and I turned on the lights. He woke up and he's like, what's wrong? He didn't know what was going on. He doesn't remember doing that at all.
Weird.
Until this day, he doesn't remember doing that, but he remembers me waking him up, telling him, I just had this. Like, I was really scared. I was like, I just had this dream. I just had this sleep paralysis, and you hugged me and screamed. That's why I woke up.
It's almost like a trance.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Right.
Like a crazy sleep trance.
I was really scared to fall asleep during those 2 months after that. I had about 2 other experiences. I don't really remember them. Like I said, it's been about 7 years, and I've been trying to block out all the bad in my life, so that's probably why I don't remember. But I went to Mexico for a month, and before I went, I was really scared that I was going to have even more experiences there, just because, you know, that's what it's known to do. Like Mexico, you hear a lot of, I hear a lot of bad stories over there, a lot of horror stories. So that's what I expected, more sleep paralysis. But surprisingly, when I was there for a full month, nothing happened. And when I came back, I didn't experience it again. And to this day, I experience it about, maybe I would say like once every 3 months. But when I do, I just shake my little toes.
See, and that's one of the only things that I could find about how to break sleep paralysis is the main one that I saw was try to wiggle your fingers and make a fist. Because if you can make a fist, then I guess that gets the blood flowing. It maybe kicks you out of that tona sleep or something. I don't know. I mean,
see,
I've seen a lot on
I put my
Wiki.
fists together and I
and
put
Kill
them
Bill.
underneath me and I snuggle.
Kill Bill.
So,
yeah, see, I've looked up stuff like that, and what I found was that. So now, like I've experienced, now when I actually have had experiences where I'm almost about to hit that stage, but I wiggle my toes and everything just comes back. And once it comes back, I know that it's not going to happen.
which, like, I've never experienced anything about that, but after y'all, like, you said that you were coming down here and that we said that we were going to be doing sleep paralysis, and he, like, forced me to, like, make more, like, situations on seeing what it was. Like, there has probably only been a couple of times in my life that I've ever had this situation. Like, one time, I can honestly say, I had bunk beds with my sister, and my mom and dad were out, and they were hanging out and having date night, and my sister was watching me, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, she woke me up. But in my dream, I was lifeless, I was moveless, and I sat there and I felt like there was a lot of snakes around me. Like, I felt like I was covered in snakes, like they were biting me and everything else. And then as I sat there and I came back to, my sister said that I was kicking and I was screaming. So it wasn't like sleep paralysis, but it was almost as if I was having such a heavy dream.
Like a night terror.
Yeah, it was like a super night terror. So my sister said that she got so mad at me that she thought that I was, like, resisting. She's like, I need you to get up, blah, blah, and she thought that I was trying not to get up. So she kind of, like, spanked me because she was my guardian at the time, because she was watching me from a date from my parents, and she's like, I didn't understand. And I told her, I said, no, Megan, these snakes are biting me. Like, they were biting me. I was still in a trance of, like, I thought there were snakes in the room around me. So I was kind of scared about it. So that's the only thing that it reminded me of, and then, but I never had anything bad, like, happen to me, like, where it was scary, except for I know that there are some things where people say that they see people from their past come into their lives, and it's not necessarily all negative. It's as if it's a death in the family, and they come back to visit you, and that they come to see you, and they come to make sure that you're okay. And which one time I had, I was sleeping really hard, and I was sleeping really heavy, and I had told Toby about the next morning, but I had kind of, like, felt like I was awake, but not really, like, super bad. Like, I was awake but not asleep, but I know that I was asleep, and I ended up feeling as if there was a weight on the bed. And my mother has passed away, like, within the past couple of years, so whenever I felt it, it felt just like her body weight, because the past couple of years we shared a bed together while hanging out and everything like that, so I knew whenever she had leaned down on the bed, her body weight, and it felt like her sitting next to me. So whenever I felt that go down onto me, that I looked up, but I could kind of see a shadow, but not really a lot of it, and it ended up being nothing by the time that I woke up the next morning. It was almost as if it was like a vivid dream to me, but only it was real to me, and I couldn't move, I couldn't say anything, and it was almost as if it was during a hard time.
But did you see anyone, or you just felt?
I felt like a shadow, or I saw like a shadow, and it was almost as if my body had taken a vision of my mom before in life, of her sitting down on my bed.
And it was just a real quick,
and
you felt something. You
my,
felt like you felt something on the bed.
Yes, and reinitiating it into my life, and she had her sitting there, like, when I was sick. I remember that during this time I was sick, and I felt like sitting down on the bed, and I felt the heaviness, and I even, like, it was so weird to me at the time that I moved my hand to feel the bed, because I felt it lean down as if somebody had put all their weight and pressure on it. And then I just kind of shook it off, and I woke up the next morning and I was fine.
So, yeah.
Did you ever have any more experiences, Kristen? Like, I mean, was it just that one time, and you never had any, like, reoccurrence of any kind, or that you know of? I mean, you might, and you just don't remember.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I've had any more of those experiences. I know that when I was younger, like, I used to live with a couple of friends, and they said that I would sleepwalk a lot. So it's kind of hard for me to know if I, you know, like, what were you? I don't know if I was awake and laying there, if I was asleep and laying there. I don't know.
Sleepwalking is more to a sleeping disorder, like the REM metona doesn't work, and you're just kind of like. I looked up a little bit. I didn't grab too much information on it, but it's a whole separate thing. Like, sleepwalking is a different part of sleep disorders. Right,
and I totally understand that. No, I mean, I've had just a couple of situations where I thought that, like, when I couldn't, like, it's not that I couldn't move, like, I was never aware of this, so I didn't know how to, like, really assess the symptoms of it or anything like that. So, like, I mean, when I was just laying there, Like, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would look. I have a really hard time with, I know it's kind of scary, but I look in a doorway and I always see dark shadows. And I don't know, that's what I've always, I guess, maybe I've faked myself out with, is making myself think that my brain is making the shadow, like, of the people. And I am either seeing the shadow people or I'm not seeing them, but in my eyes I'm seeing the people, and I just kind of fake myself out of it and I kind of shutter it off and I go back to sleep. But I do know that, like,
well, and when a human is in the dark, your eyes are constantly searching for light. So constantly, like, it's basically like a computer screen refreshing. So your eyes are refreshing, and so they're catching different shadows because you're getting different light. So you might see things, and that's the other trick. That's what falls into this, the sleep paralysis.
Right, so I don't know if I was asleep or if I was awake and seeing these things, because I was in probably such a deep daze. Now, I do know that my mom, when she was here, she used to always sit there and tell me that when I would go to sleep, I'd have, I believe it's called sleep apnea.
Yeah.
My mom would catch me where I wasn't breathing while sleeping.
Right.
And so she would nudge me, or one time my mom even said, in a drastic measure, she didn't understand it, but she kind of like hit my throat. And the next morning I woke up with a sore throat because she had hit me. She didn't understand it. There's been plenty of cases where I have fallen asleep and I don't keep breathing while being asleep. So that's where I mean, there's just so many different things. Like, I don't know, like, what it could be, because I'm not in that state of mind knowing it. So it could be sleep paralysis, but I don't think it is. I mostly think it's either sleepwalking or I am in a deeper transit than being in sleep.
You're having something.
Yes,
had something different.
I think it's deeper transit than being in sleep.
Well, let's take a small break. When we come back, we will talk about the different types of sleep paralysis, and like the different beliefs and culture, and like what people think they are. So we'll be right back. Alright, so we are back. I figured I would tell you guys the different things that happen in cultures, because a lot of the different cultures have different beliefs on what the sleep paralysis is. So we'll start in Scandinavia. The folklore calls it a mane. Now, a lot of these are called like night hags or or mares. Or that may be a mare. It may be a mare, not a mane. But I can't read my own writing. But they call it a mare. We'll say it's a mare. In Fiji, they call it and I may butcher the pronunciation on this, but it's a Kano Terroro, and is a demon with unfinished business. So that's what'll come haunt you in the middle of the night, is this demon. In Nigeria, they call it the devil on your back, which is, what was it? What was yours?
When the death comes and sleeps on top of you. When it lays on top of you.
And that's like the Mexican folklore?
Yeah.
Okay. Turkey. In Turkey, they call it the Karubazan, and it's a demonic creature called a jinn. It holds you down and strangles the person. To get rid of it, you must pray to Allah, reading and I'm going to butcher all this, but the Al-Falaq and the Al-Nas from the Quran. So, like, you have to say a prayer in Turkey to get rid of it. And it's a jinn. I don't know if it's related to, like, the genie type of jinn, because there is a creature called the jinn, and it's kind of like a genie that you would see in Aladdin, but they're evil. So I don't know if it's the same type or if it's just a different creature with the same name. In some stories, the jinn wears a hat, and if the victim can take a hat off of it, the jinn will become its slave. So you could have a little jinn slave. In Thailand, they call it the I shouldn't have wrote all these words because they're so hard to...
You should have pronounced them before.
In Thailand, they call it the Phia Am. This spirit can cause like bruises, like it'll cause bruises on the victim, like choking it and stuff like that. In America, a lot of people believe that, well, in early America, and like during the Salem witch trials, a lot of people believe that it was witches coming and sitting on your chest, trying to take the breath out of you. We actually did a episode on this a couple of episodes back, so go listen to that if you want to hear more on the witches and stuff. We did get a lot of information wrong, I was brought to attention, so we may have to do an updated version for the witch trials. A lot of people nowadays believe that it might be aliens coming into their room and, you know, probing them, taking them, abducting them. Some people, I've even heard stories that it's the reptilians. Reptilians, there's a big conspiracy. People believe that there's a reptilian race that lives on the planet with us. Well, there's also the sleep paralysis where it's not just a being like just coming into your room to like spook you out or cause those little electric shocks like I was talking about way earlier. Some people believe that it can be an incubus or a succubus. An incubus is the male version that comes and sleeps with a female in the middle of the night. So you still have that paralyzed feeling and you're being raped pretty much. And the succubus is basically the female version where, you know, the female comes in the room and basically rapes the male. There's also the theory of shadow people. So a lot of the shadows on the walls that people see when they're under this paralysis is like, it turns out to be people.
And what no one has mentioned so far in this thing is that they do have, there is a certain thing that's called, when people go into sleep paralysis, they see him, and it's called the Hat Man.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
So the Hat Man is somebody who is the keeper of the shadow people, and he controls them, but no one has ever came close to interfering with the Hat Man.
We'll see. Okay, so there's different types of shadow people. That falls in the shadow people category.
But he's a keeper, like
the leader.
Leader.
So a lot of people that have this sleep paralysis, they all agree. Well, they don't all agree, but a lot of people have reported seeing this shadowy figure wearing this, like, I guess.
I've read that, and it, to me, what it sounds like is, I don't know if you guys have seen the Babadook.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Babadook.
Yes. So
I love the Babadook.
So I was actually talking to my nephew and his girlfriend about our podcast that we were doing. They're like, dude, I've actually experienced that. I was like, are you kidding me? And his girlfriend was telling me that she saw this guy and he was wearing like almost a top hat thing.
See, and that's what a lot of people reported as.
And I said, that sounds kind of like the Babadook that, you know, I've seen. And she was like, well, what is that? So I found a picture and she goes, oh my gosh, she like freaked out so bad. She was like, I can't even look at this.
So that may be
exactly what it is.
That may be what that movie's based on is the Hat Man.
That's
but
kind of what I was
that's
thinking.
One of the more popular ones. Now, some of the other different shadow people, people will see like of course the slim normal like.
And there are different movies that are based on this. There is
right.
like The Nightmare on Elm Street. There is going to be Insidious. There is going to be different ones that are based on sleep paralysis in a way, but only into an extreme of like no return.
The Nightmare on Elm Street, like the way it feels. As you know how they're in a dream and then it goes into darkness.
Right.
That's how it feels. That's how it feels, and you really feel like you're dying. Like whatever is happening in that dream, you feel like it's really happening.
Right.
So I have a question. So this isn't like my perspective. This is just a question. So when people are going into a deep sleep and they fall off, like say if they fall off of a mountain, fall off of something really steep, is like, what is that considered? Is that considered a moment of sleep paralysis because they can't
like when
move?
you're having that falling dream
yes,
where
they
you
can't
like
move,
snap?
They can't do anything. You
I don't
you
know.
don't scream. You don't sit there and come to at the very end. You only remember it whenever
your
you
muscles
first wake
tense up,
yes.
and it feels like you just.
Which I have heard, if you don't wake up in the middle of one of those, if you hit
die.
the bottom, you die.
I think
that's what I've heard.
I think that's the big myth of
Really?
of that.
But I've never fell all the way to the end. But you know, like that's what I'm saying.
I think you wake
could
up.
that possibly be like a first effect of sleep paralysis?
Yeah, maybe it could be.
And it wakes you. Your body is a reactant, and it wakes you up and makes sure that you don't go into that situation.
I mean, it might be. Some of the other types of the shadow people. There's a real like big heavy looking one. Like it just looks.
The blob.
Yeah, it's a big blob. A lot of people say that if you see that one, that's the dangerous one. Like that's the one that wants to mess with you and wants to make you scared. Like the slim skinny one. The
shadow people. I think that I'd be more afraid if I saw a human form versus a blob, just because a human form I know like.
Yeah, it's a person.
I mean, we deal with those every day, so it's like a human form versus just a big black cloud. I'd be way more scared of a human form, especially if there is two being controlled, or, I mean, if there's more than one, period, I'd be definitely scared.
Well, and then there's also the theory that some of these shadow people, that they may be like fallen angels, or angels that have left heaven, and they can't get back into heaven because they've left it. So there's
demons.
There's
they're
still
demons.
well, no,
fallen angels are demons.
Not even demon. Well, I'm saying that some of them believe that they may be angels either looking out for you or demons, checking in on you. If you believe in that kind of thing, like
my thing is there has to be something when people are going through sleep paralysis. A lot of people say that the hat person doesn't mess with them, or that these demons don't mess with them, and there's got to be something that is protecting them. I am very religious. I don't know about a lot of people, but I believe there has to be something that is holy that is surrounding you to be able to keep you from the evil, because there is a lot of things like, I know that there are circumstances when people have said, well, there's this demon lingering over me, and there's this, this scary shadow person lingering over me. But, all of us know, anything that we've ever known about exorcism is that if a demon wants you, they're going to get you. So during sleep paralysis, if you have no movement, no sound, no nothing, that's their best way to get you. And if they don't get you during that time, then there has to be something watching over you or keeping you from being in that situation. Because if not, then, I mean, I don't see any other reasoning why they wouldn't just go ahead and take you. Like, they would...
Right, yeah.
Possess you, pretty much.
So, do you believe that this sleep paralysis is something beyond our understanding of some kind of force, or do you believe that it's just something in our own heads, in our own bodies? What do you think, Kristen?
I think it's neurological, but if it come onto a religion end, I think that it could be a moment where demons could get in. And
well, that's what I'm asking. Do you think it's just a body thing, or do you think it's something spiritual or something beyond our understanding? I can't
say that because I've never experienced it.
Right.
Until I have laid down, I have felt that heaviness. I cannot say that. All I know is that I can say that it could either be religious, or it could be, or not necessarily religious, but like a spiritual feeling versus a demonic. My only reasoning of not thinking that it's completely demonic is that's the most vulnerable time for a demon to get inside of you.
When you're asleep and your guard's down?
For, to make you become, a poltergeist of them. So
right.
I don't see why they wouldn't take the opportunity, unless there is a demon out there that I don't know about that thinks that it's just fun to do this. I mean, I may need to read up on that they're the nightmare demon or something. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that it could be either neurological or it is spiritual.
What do you think? Like, since you've actually had experiences, like, what do you think it was actually something that was just in your head, kind of, or do you think you actually experienced something that's unexplainable?
I feel like when you're in that stage, it's a different world. It's a different, how they say, dimension of life. And when you're in that stage, you see everything that's out there.
It may be a parallel world.
Why is it that everybody sees the same thing? I feel like it's a different world. That's how I felt like it was, because I knew it was not in our physical world. I knew it wasn't that. I knew that phase wasn't real, but it was real to me at that time. Like, it was real to me when that was happening. It felt real. And when my brother woke me up, he woke me up from that
He pulled you out of that
yes,
dimension.
he woke me, and I woke up, and I was like, I know that was not real, but it was real. Like, it was real in another world, and I know a lot of people, like a lot of my friends, they talk about different dimensions, different worlds.
Right. Parallel universes, all that.
Yeah, they talk about
stuff.
all of that, and I haven't really looked into that, so I don't know really what to say on that. But from what I've experienced, that's what I think.
Right.
I definitely think there's something spiritual to it. I don't think that it's just scientific. I can't, just because of the simple fact that thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people experience this, and they experience almost the exact same thing. An evil presence.
Well, I mean, it's the exact same thing, but it's always like a different being of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is. I mean, it is weird that like some people see like demons, some people see loved ones, some people, you know.
But a lot of people have similar experiences. Like they see a person sitting on them, or a group of people will see someone standing in their corner. A group of people will see a loved one,
or somebody just trying to mess with you.
Yeah, it's weird that it's all very similar experiences. I feel like if it was something scientific, everyone would have different. Like, oh, I was paralyzed, but there were lollipops over there. Not
yeah. How come there hasn't been
demon.
any? How come there hasn't been any lovely experiences? Like, what story
It's
have you
always
seen
evil.
that has been nice?
Yeah.
There hasn't been any, has there? I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, I've never been paralyzed and seen
The only
kites
thing we
or
saw was
anything.
from the nightmare when the guy said that I was a baby and I was an infant in the crib, and he said that they had seen the guys that looked like they were smiling faces. But to him, as an infant, he doesn't even know what a smiley face is at that time. So it could have been anything.
Yeah, I feel like there's something way more than just scientific.
More than we
evidence
can understand.
prove.
I feel like when that happens, people do see a different world, see that, that middle world, but it can't hurt you because I haven't seen any cases where they wake up and not being able to wake up or hurt or anything like that. I haven't seen that, so...
Well, there's one, I can't remember, I went over it a minute ago, but there's one, like, people would actually have bruises.
The incubus and the succubus.
Well,
like,
I'm
they
not...
feel like
hold on,
they
let me...
have been hurt, like, spiritually, like, raped. But
I heard that there are a lot of sexual experiences.
Yes.
Well, that's the incubus and the succubus, so...
But
Very
my only
weird.
thing, though, is that there has to be something... my thing is I'm ruling out the stress factor. I get it that, when people are underneath a lot of stress, but, I mean, who's to say what people have been in stress from other people? Like, I've been underneath a lot of stress, and I've never had this happen to me. So that's my only thing, is saying that it's caused by stress, is because I guess it could be your body's
It may
chemical reaction to it all.
It may be stress and sleep. It may be like 3 or 4 things that factor into it. Stress, sleep, not a proper diet. Who knows? We don't know.
But I just think that if it was caused upon stress or diet or, sleep or anything like that, there would be more cases of it out there, but it's very rare as of now. Like, I haven't seen so much
I
of it.
never heard of it until we started doing this. And
Yeah,
then
I
I
think-
realized how many people actually experience
I want to say
it.
I saw a number. It's like less than 8% of people
So stress
actually
was a
in the
factor.
world experience this. So that's when you think of how many billions of people there are. 8% is just a very small fraction of that.
Yeah.
If stress was a factor, I think that there would be more cases. I think that's my reasoning of why it has to be either spiritual or it has to be, it's either spiritual or it is like neurological. Like it's a nerve disorder in your brain. Like it has to be.
What do you think of? You gotta say something, man. We need to know what you
You've heard us
think.
talking this whole entire
This-
time.
this-
You gotta
you've
think
heard the
something-
I'm
stories.
just listening.
I know you don't have much information on it, but what do you think? Do you think this is something that's real? Do you think it's something that's just in the brain? Do you think it's something that someone's just dreaming? Or do you think it is something beyond our comprehension?
I honestly think it's some sort of spiritual being coming into our rooms and doing these types of things.
Right.
Really?
That's okay if you
I
think
just
that.
want to
You
say.
can-
I just want to say really.
Yeah.
if you think differently, you can
No,
say.
I just
Okay.
like that's cool because I think differently.
Well, see,
It's just really hard for me to believe, that so many people have seen the same things over and over. Everybody has the same descriptions of the things that have come in, the things that they've seen.
So you think it's spiritually? Is that what you said?
I think it's something spiritually, yeah.
Something out of
And
your
I can
comprehension.
I feel like when it happens, when your body, I can't even talk. Never mind.
Go ahead.
Like when it happens.
Just
Can you
start
help
over.
me
Just
explain
start over.
this?
When your body goes into that sleep.
When your body goes into that sleep stage where you wake up and you can't move. I really feel like you wake up in that world, which is really
Like you're more susceptible.
I feel like how
Like
come everybody has seen the same
Your
thing?
consciousness goes into a different realm.
Yeah, how come everybody sees the same
a different
thing?
dimension.
I feel like they
almost
see
like
that
a different
because
world.
Well, it's different. I mean, like I said, some people see...
exactly, but it's
people,
all
some people-
evil.
Yeah, and you know, that's...
And that's why I say in
It's all
Asia,
dark
and
and
I feel like...
you're more susceptible. That's when your body is more susceptible for that evil is when you're in that REM sleep.
What if it happens during the day?
People do it during the day.
Yeah, it happens to people during the day. It can happen
People
at any
can,
time.
Like almost if they're daydreaming. It's like as if they're daydreaming, but they go into sleep, so they end up having the sleep paralysis. My thing is, unless they go to a sleep doctor or anything like that, like how can you tell what really happens? Like Toby was watching a video earlier of a woman who was having sleep paralysis, and she was actually speaking.
She was trying to speak.
And
the cameraman that
really
was recording,
slowly.
he was saying she's having sleep paralysis, and it looks like she's trying to talk to him, and
she's talking.
it shows like the little notes and stuff on the YouTube video, and it says that yes, I am trying to talk to my husband right here, and I'm trying to tell him I'm awake, but she couldn't say it
They're
like.
trying to talk, but they can't.
See, and
they
that's
can't say it. So that's my thing is I've never experienced someone doing sleep paralysis, so I can't sit there and I would love to be the one to wake them up and go, look, there was nothing around you. But you can't do that to anyone because in that sleep paralysis mode, they could have 1,000 demons around them, or they could have 1,000 million weights around them.
I wonder
in
what
their world, it is their own dimension.
I wonder if, like you had happen with your brother snapping you out of it, I wonder if that's the safest way to do it. Like, if it's safe always to be snapped out of it that quickly.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if it needs to... Because this guy wasn't waking up his wife. He was just letting her go through it. He
Right,
wasn't. He
because
didn't
even in
shake her.
Sleepwalking, they tell you
Just
don't
like
wake 'em up.
sleepwalking. Yeah, just like sleepwalking.
They're like, don't wake them up. Don't wake them up.
You
no
know-
matter what you do, let them walk it through.
I feel like I had a different opinion on this when we first started. I feel like it is weird that everyone has a scary incident happen. It's not just... at first I would have said, oh, this is just something that the brain does to certain people because of certain reasons. But it's so weird that everyone has scary stuff happen to them. It's not ponies. It's not...
Like ever.
Yeah, it's...
Not
it's,
even one.
It's people coming into your room. People coming to get you. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to say this might be something beyond our understanding.
Definitely.
So,
I believe so.
it is weird, and I feel bad. I've never had it happen to me personally, but I don't want it to happen because it sounds terrifying.
And like I said, it's tried to happen to me before. I felt it before, but I just wiggle my toes and it just goes away. So wiggle your toes, people.
So I guess
Lesson learned: wiggle your toes.
I guess that's how we'll wrap it up. Is always remember to wiggle your toes if you're having a bad dream.
Wiggle your big toe.
Wiggle your big
Your
toe.
big toe and then your small one.
All right, everyone. Would you like to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Love all you
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Kids are playing every day.
Hello and welcome to Kids Explain Everything. Who is with me today?
Gibson,
Gibson. How old are you, Gibson?
6.
You're 6. Can you tell me about nightmares? What is a nightmare?
You sleeping and you close your eyes and dream. You can see creepers in your house talking to aliens in her and tagging you family, and you wake and you can hear them talking and tagging their family, and you can wake up and you can see guardian things in your house, and they come to you and look back and they show pictures of their face on your wall.
Wow.
And they're kill and they're looking front.
That sounds really scary.
And they can come and get you.
But nightmares aren't real, are they?
No.
And but you have good dreams too, right?
Yeah, but I really don't get dreams.
You don't have dreams?
No.
Oh. So you just sleep and you wake up?
Yeah.
Oh. You don't dream about puppies?
No.
No?
I dream of nothing.
Nothing?
I really don't dreams.
Why do we dream?
I get you when I get dapping you for and dapping you do in real life. And it's time to go to sleep, you sleep and you dream what you did in real life.
Oh, so you just dream about stuff that you did all day?
That was a long time ago about my dream of creepy stuff. Now I don't.
Yeah, you don't dream about creepy stuff?
Yeah, I don't dream
That's
anymore.
good, because you sounded like you were talking about aliens and
creepers
and so how do you not have bad dreams?
That one just got wrong with my brain. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with your brain. You have a good brain.
I know.
Okay. Well, would you like to say bye?
Bye.
Say talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Kids are playing everything.
Thank you for listening to the show. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to email us at secrettransmission@hotmail.com. Or you can follow us on Twitter and find out when we post our new shows at secrettranspod. SecretTranspod. Don't forget, all of our episodes are also available on YouTube and SoundCloud. Just search for Secret Transmission Podcast and subscribe. Please come back and listen to us try to explain the unexplainable.
Still ahead tonight.
Ready to say goodbye, Roger.
Beach balls, great big mobile beach ball.
Hopefully a little more successfully.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Kids are playing everything.
Hello and welcome to Kids Explain Everything. Who is with me today?
Gibson,
Gibson? How old are you, Gibson?
6.
You're 6. Can you tell me about nightmares? What is a nightmare?
You sleeping and you close your eyes and dream. You can see creepers in your house talking to aliens in her and tagging you family, and you wake and you can hear them talking and tagging their family, and you can wake up and you can see scratching things in your house, and they come to you and look back and they show pictures of their face on your wall.
Wow.
And they're killed and they're looking front.
That sounds really scary.
And they can come and get you.
But nightmares aren't real, are they?
No.
And, but you have good dreams too, right?
Yeah, but I really don't get dreams.
You don't have dreams?
No.
Oh. So you just sleep and you wake up?
Yeah.
Oh. You don't dream about puppies?
No.
No?
I dream of nothing.
Nothing?
I really don't dreams.
Why do we dream?
I got you wonder. I got that in you. For and that in you do in real life. And it's time to go to sleep. You sleep and you dream what you did in real life.
Oh, so you just dream about stuff that you did
Yeah.
all day?
That was a long time ago, but my dream of creepy does. Now I don't.
Yeah, you don't dream about creepy stuff.
Yeah, I don't dream.
That's
no
good,
more.
because you sounded like you were talking about aliens and
Creepers.
and so how do you not have bad dreams?
That one just got wrong with my brain. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with your brain. You have a good brain.
I know.
Okay. Well, would you like to say bye?
Bye.
Say talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Kids are playing everything.
Thank you for listening to the show. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to email us at secrettransmission@hotmail.com. Or you can follow us on Twitter and find out when we post our new shows at SecretTransPod. SecretTranspod. Don't forget, all of our episodes are also available on YouTube and SoundCloud. Just search for Secret Transmission Podcast and subscribe. Please come back and listen to us try to explain the unexplainable.
Still ahead tonight.
Ready to say goodbye, Roger.
Beach balls, great big mobile beach ball.
Hopefully a little more successfully.